Today, we're going to make our shishito pepper dish. So, why shishito peppers is the first question anyone asks. I love shishito peppers. They really are the ultimate snacking pepper. You know, as far as heat goes, 1 in every 10 could be a little bit spicy, but on the average, you're going to be pretty good to eat them. But that kind of roulette feeling of maybe get the spice one makes it really fun to eat. They really are a pepper that spans cultures. So you find a version of them in Spain called the Padron, which is more summertime season. But it's a really well-known pepper, a really great pepper. In Italy, the pepperoncinis that you buy in jars are usually a similar variety of shishito that's pickled. In Japanese food, you go to sushi bars, you could usually get grilled over charcoal shishito peppers, or sometimes they'll fry them and add a little kind of a sweet sauce to them. So you really find it in all cultures across the globe. What we chose to do here was bring that culture feeling into Mexico. And so what we did is we wanted to find very kind of traditional Mexican ingredients for that dish, to show it in a region that they're not already present in, to show how versatile the shishito peppers really are. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly flash fry them just to soften them a little bit, blister the skin, and then we're going to mix them with all the things I have here. I've got some pickled red onions that are done in a basic pickling liquid made from red wine vinegar. Then I've got some Cotija cheese. Now Cotija is almost like the Mexican version of a Parmesan cheese. So this is Cotija añeja. It's an aged salty cheese. You can see how it just crumbles apart, but still has a very salty, very full character for it. Then we've got some serrano chilies, which we sliced thin and pickled. Now we're adding some serrano chilies into this because we want to bring up that heat level just a little bit to really make it fit into that kind of Mexican culture. And so we're not adding so much that it's making it a hot dish. We're adding just a little bit to give it some zing. We're going to add some freshly picked cilantro leaves. Again, just brings that beautiful brightness back into the dish. And we're also just going to add some fresh lime juice to bring up that acidity and bring that freshness back in. Because when I think about Mexican food, I think about the lightness and the brightness of those peppers and all the pickled things we have. We want it to really be this vibrant dish, not this depressing, dark dish. We want this light, vibrant, beautiful, airy dish. So now we're going to go ahead and fry our shishito peppers. If you don't have a deep fryer at home, you could quickly saute these. They might pop a little bit just because there's moisture on them. You could also grill them over an open flame. You could cook them really anyway. You could oven roast them. I do think that deep frying them in this dish is probably one of the better ways because it does leave them kind of almost raw in the middle but cooked on the outside. If you don't have a deep fryer at home, you could totally just get a big pot of oil and get a frying thermometer. Put it in there. You want your oil to be at around 350, 375. Anywhere in that range is going to be good. If you go lower than that, your shishitos won't cook through, but they'll absorb oil, so you get a very oily pepper that's not cooked. If you go higher than that, you're going to start burning your oil too much. You're going to start tasting that burned flavor, and you won't get that beautiful shishito pepper flavor. So right in that range of 350 to 375. If you're frying at home on a stove, I would have your oil at 375, because when you put in your peppers, your temperature is going to drop slightly. So it'll drop down to 350, and then in about a minute or so, you could pull them out, and you'll have a great pepper afterwards. If you're using a commercial deep fryer, you could start at 350 because it'll hold temperature throughout the cooking process. So when I put them in the deep fryer, they're going to go in. We're going to move them around in a frying basket or with a spoon or anything like that to just make sure they're getting cooked because they'll float. So you want them to cook on all sides. Once you see the skin starting to blister, they're done. Pull them out, strain them gently, right into the mixing bowl. Add salt when they come out, and then we'll season it with everything else that we have ready. All right, so what I'm looking for with my shishito peppers is I want to see that skin with those little white blisters all across, but you see that they're still firm. They're still holding their shape. They haven't wilted down yet. So when I cook them, I move them around constantly and to make sure that they're getting that blister all the way around the shishito pepper, not just on the bottom. And then periodically I'll pick them up and I'll check them to see how cooked they are. And if they're not fully blistered, I'll put them back in and let them cook for about another 30 seconds or so until I get something that looks just like this. And this is exactly what you want. It's just a little bit of blistering action, but again, they're not wilted down. You can see how now they still hold shape. They don't droop around. They still look like a pepper. Even though they are cooked, they're not so cooked that they're wilting down, okay? That's a properly cooked shishito pepper. So now that I have them in here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some of my ingredients in. So I have my pickled red onions. I have some of my cotija cheese that's crumbled. I have some pickled serranos. Now again, we're not trying to make this spicy, so I'm looking for like 5 pieces or 6 pieces, just enough to spice it up just a little bit. Some of that fresh cilantro. You want a decent amount of that because it's going to bring a lot of brightness into that dish. And then a good healthy squeeze of fresh lime juice. And then just gently toss that around. You want everything to be coating the shishito peppers, just kind of like that. And you see how the onion starts sticking to it, the cheese is sticking to it, the cilantro is now kind of wilting onto it as well. So all those flavors are really coming together now. So once it's all well tossed, go ahead and put it in a bowl and they're ready to enjoy. So when I transfer it over, I try to pick it up because I don't want all of that liquid left over. So if you see there's a little bit of liquid left in my bowl, I'm going to leave it there and just keep all of that together, just like that. And that's our finished shishito pepper dish.